Welcome to the Stogie Geek Show, episode 121. This episode is sponsored by Mr. J's Havana Smoke Shop, located in Rhode Island. They have an outstanding selection of premium handmade cigars. And by the Havana Cigar Club, located here in Warwick, Rhode Island. It's a great place to enjoy a drink and a cigar. Stogie Geeks listeners can find a $5 off coupon on our website by clicking the HCC logo. And by AJ Fernandez Cigars, handcrafted in Nicaragua using the finest materials. Their brands include the San Latano Pinolero and AJ's recently released New World brand. Visit them at ajfernandezcigars.com. And by Debonaire Cigars. Visit stogiegeeks.com/Debonaire for a list of retailers who carry Debonaire. Buy some today and get a little more Debonaire. And by Ocean State Cigars. Try the J Grotto series, including the Connecticut Shade Silk and limited edition J Grotto Reserva lines, as well as the new J Grotto Anniversary. Visit them on the web at oceanstatecigars.com. Welcome, everyone, to this edition of the Stogie Geek Show. I'm your host, Paul Asadorian, and I am very excited to be here this evening with my co-host, Mr. Will Cooper. Welcome, Will.
Greetings, everybody.
What's going on, Will?
Oh,
Will's,
I have light.
Yeah, you have light. You have a brand new light. Yes, there he is. We can see him even better than ever. Camera angle looking good. It's wonderful.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
it's wonderful. Speaking of ridiculous studio equipment, or not studio equipment, Will's equipment, not Will's equipment, but Will's equipment in North Carolina for lighting, which is exciting. We're talking about equipment that we're going to hear in the studio. We found an awesome piece of equipment for the podcast. So we're expecting a number of upgrades to happen over the holiday break. So we'll be doing a show obviously next week, and then on December 19th, right? We're going to do a lunch on December 19th, Will? Is that the deal?
No, we have a regular 18th show, I thought.
Oh, interesting. Okay, we'll need to talk about that after the show. Did you book a guest for the 18th?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, this is the first we're on a lunch. We'll talk after the show.
Okay. But then that's our last show of the year.
Right, that's our last show of the year.
Okay, at least we got that right. And then we'll be doing some studio upgrades with respects to sound, and I'm so excited about this, Will. It has absolutely nothing to do with cigar smoking, but I'm excited about it. In my 9 years of doing podcasting, I'm always excited about the technology that happens behind the scenes, and that's why Will loves me so much, or one of the reasons is because I get excited about the technology, and he's like, that's great, Paul, you have fun with that. So there's a lot of cool podcasting stuff going on.
I'm going to defend you, Paul. We're the only show that has multiple cameras, and that's because of your vision and the work you've done here. And the fact that we did a very interesting Stogie Geeks remote this week, thanks to some equipment that you found that was really ideal. I'm going to tease that till the end of the show, though, that one.
Yeah, absolutely we should. Yeah, I'm excited about that camera as well.
Yeah, it's really going to help us. So, I mean, it is good. The technology is really good. I think it's how we're able to deliver this.
Yeah, and I can't take all the credit for that either. I have several advisors that I've met over the years. Actually, the person that recommended our cameras and kind of backed up my decision is a documentary filmmaker. So the same cameras that we use, they take into like the jungle of Colombia to do a documentary film. So it's really cool technology. Audio guy Steve, who edits all of the audio for our show, was instrumental. I was looking at one piece of equipment, and he was reading my mind. He was already researching some other piece of equipment, and we got a great deal on it. And we might be holding an auction and auctioning off some equipment here in the studio because it's replacing a whole bunch of stuff. So we're really excited about that. I like to keep things, on the cutting edge, on the bleeding edge even of technology for all of our shows. So, and also with our websites as well. Chris and myself have been working very hard on our website infrastructure. So over the holiday break, we'll be making some improvements. So when you come into the new year, there will be a lot of behind-the-scenes changes, but some changes you may notice as well with the Stogie Geeks in terms of some of the behind-the-scenes production value of the show. And, like Will said, we're the only cigar show with multiple camera angles, and we have two gigantic high definition cameras for the show, professional audio gear, and we have a whole server farm supporting our website infrastructure that will be implemented over break. So I know that's probably way too much detail for our listeners because it has nothing to do with cigars, but I'm excited about it. So there you have
I
it.
really am. Like I said, I get excited about the cigars, but this is the stuff that is why we're able to deliver the product we're able to deliver.
Absolutely. I tell you
Yep.
what I'm excited about is Saturday. I'm excited for Saturday, dude. Because
It's a big
Saturday
day.
is the blending seminar, stogiegeeks.com/blending. Manuel and Noah from La Aurora will be here. You can buy this blending kit. You can participate online. We've talked about it on the show. You spend the afternoon with master blenders, the one of the best master blenders in the industry. Stogiegeeks.com/blending. Sign up today. You'll receive a blending kit. Maybe we in between segments we can go. The blending kits are in. Will they're next door? So I meant to go grab one earlier, but we'll go do that. Maybe one of us can go grab the blending kit. We've got some new people here in the studio. Uh, but anyway, the blending kit is awesome. We had a picture of the blending kit last time. Do we still have the picture of the blending kit somewhere? That's in that slide presentation. If we can work on putting that up there, this blending kit is awesome. So, Will, what we decided is those of you that are already registered, you'll get to watch the blending seminar, right? Now, in the 3 hours, I don't know if Manuel actually is going to go the full 3 hours, Will. I'm assuming he's going to have to take a break at some point,
Right.
maybe. I don't know how it works. You've been to blending seminars before. I'm assuming there's some kind of break, right?
I've seen them done different ways, but usually there's times where you have to rest the palate, give people a chance to
To
rest the
rest their
palate.
palate. Yeah. So
And yeah,
during that time, I decided that I'm going to be here in studio, um, hopefully watching the blending seminar from here in the studio, and we need to figure that out, Chris. But anyway, I'll be here in studio, so Chris can cut to my camera so I'll be on the blending seminar, and I'll be participating in the blending seminar. So you might get some of my commentary and my thoughts as we progress through the blending seminar as well, which is really cool. I'm looking forward to it. Manuel is going to be right next door to our studio in the Havana Cigar Club, and we have yet more equipment that we've purchased to make that happen. So we'll have a wireless mic on Manuel. We'll have a nice HD high definition camera on Manuel as well. So you'll be able to participate just like you're there, and it's going to be very, very exciting. And I'll be here as well, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I can't wait. I'm excited.
yeah, and I think the other thing we should talk about, because I had a chance to sample a little bit of it this week, is the customer's choice Corona Especials in that Preferito blend. So for this seminar, Todd Lascola, who runs the Havana Cigar Club, was able to procure um, Corona size 5.5 by 42s of those Preferito blends. I happen to smoke the Black Diamond this week. A
Oh, interesting how
fantastic
you
smoke.
chose that one, Will. That's the best.
Yeah,
That's one of the best ones in the
it,
bunch, in my opinion.
it, it really is the best one. I think now, and I love it in that Preferito, and that Preferito does some great things. But that Corona is really right up there too. Where if you're a fan of a Corona, and this is a powerful little
I bet
smoke
it's a
too.
powerhouse, huh?
It really is. Yeah, I think in a way it's a little more powerful than even the Preferito in that little Corona. You're really getting the concentration of the wrapper on that thing. So and there's I actually was talking to Seth who smoked the gold in that Corona, and he said that's another great size as well. So between the two, like I said, this is something, and it's not going to be available forever. In fact, what I learned this week is most of the Coronas went to the Mid-Atlantic states, and it sounds like that this came up just for this event. So Todd was able to secure some of these with Manuel in town. So, they're not gonna, it's not gonna be something that's readily available forever. If you like these Preferido blends, this is a great way to kind of sample them.
Can't wait. Can't wait. Well, we're going to try and get one of those to hold up for the camera a little later on in the show.
Yeah, yeah.
What are we smoking tonight, Will?
Well,
I hope
yeah,
I'm smoking the right thing. I saw it in the notes, so that's what I'm
I'm
smoking.
smoking the wrong thing.
You're smoking.
Yeah, I'm smoking the wrong thing because I'm an idiot. And I wrote the notes. So what are you smoking first?
You told me to smoke the Aging Room Small Batch Wild Pack.
I know I told you that. I lit the wrong cigar up. I have it with me too.
Yeah. So
yeah. Which one did you smoke? Which one did you light up?
Raphael, I love you, man, but I have a confession to make. So since it's a small batch wild pack and you get 10 different blends. Now, the one I got only had 5 blends in it because I'm assuming.
Well, that's because there's 5 blends, 2 each.
So is that what it? Okay, I thought it was 10.
So
it is. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you look at the band.
Yes.
This is live. This is live video. It says Aging Room, and there's a couple of white panels.
Yes.
You will see the blend on there. I happen to have mine here, and I can actually light it up in parallel because I do have it. I just lit the wrong cigar.
Oh.
I have the WP1, which is the T248, which looks like a weathered Connecticut shade wrapper.
Yeah, I agree. I had that one too. I didn't light that one up because I smoked my face off today. I had a visitor to my studio/office today, and we've been smoking cigars all day. So I lit up some of those with the darker wrapper. I did try a WP11 W277. So wild pack. That denotes the wild pack. I'm assuming they're all WP.
Right.
Oh no, are they? What is the? So what are the two numbers? There's WP-11. Or is that 2? Is there Roman numerals? Oh, they're Roman numerals.
Yeah.
You know what? Don't pay attention to anything I say.
This is live broadcasting. So I can go. It's
Are we live? Are we doing a show? Oh, okay. Just checking.
So WP, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes.
Okay. Then under
I now remember Roman numerals when we learned them in elementary school, Will. Sorry.
Then under it is you'll see like a letter designation. Like I have T248, which is for Tuesday, the 248th day of the year.
I got Wednesday 277 was the one that I lit up earlier that I wasn't so much a fan of. I was smoking 2 at once, and then I also smoked M338, and I'm going with M338 for the show.
Okay.
So that's what I did. The other ones, well, S19 looks interesting. It's got kind of a lighter brown wrapper going on with it. The other T306 and T248 look like you said, like rustic Connecticut wrappers.
Yeah, I mean these look like they're very weathered.
Yes,
yeah.
Weathered is the term you used. I'm saving those for a morning smoke.
Yeah.
So I'm liking the M338. I think it's got great flavor.
I think what we'll do is when we're done smoking the 5, because the idea of this is you vote for your favorite one. You and I could decide which one we're going to vote for.
Yeah.
And there's a little score sheet on here too, which is kind of cool.
On the band, there is a score sheet. So you write the blend number. Of course, the first band, I was an idiot and I ripped it in half. Oops. But this one, I realized, there's a score sheet on it, and they categorize it in aroma, flavor, strength, complexity, balance, and finish. Yeah. And you're supposed to rate each one, this is cool. It's cool.
Yeah, I like how you can actually go to a website and then enter your entries on the website.
Cool. I want to hold up for the camera the Light the Legacy even 1903 edition trainee kit blending seminar. So here we're going to cut to there we go. Cut to the good camera. And then so that's what the box looks like. So you're going to get one of these, and then if I open this bad boy up, this is what you get. So you can see right here, you have a cutter, which fell, and you have right here is your four Peritos right there. Your fully blended La Aurora Cameroon cigar right there. And then you got this cigar, which is interesting. This is a Churchill. And what's interesting about the Churchill, I'm going to hold it up for the camera. What's interesting about this Churchill, and you get these in the blending, is that it has 5 different wrappers. 5. So if I can hold that up, it's kind of hard to see. There it is. See how there's different wrappers, and these are just bands of wrappers. So as you smoke it, you're hitting those 5 different wrappers as you smoke this cigar. Okay, so that's one of the things that you get with this. And these are the Puritos. So this is each component of the blend in a Purito size. It kind of looks like a short Corona, a half Corona. I would call it a half Corona. Half Corona. So you get 4 of those, which are all the different tobacco components within the blend. Filler, binder. Filler, the 4 filler and binder, not wrapper, Will? Because you don't smoke the wrapper in a Purito,
You don't
right?
no, you
Yeah.
don't put the wrapper.
So
Yeah,
that's
it's
just
just
the
the bind.
filler and the binder.
Yeah.
And then you get the this size is the smallest size Preferito. And if you can find these, this my favorite size Preferito is this smaller. What do they call it? The number 1?
Yeah, I think it's the number
Yeah,
one.
it's the smallest size. I
Yeah,
had
it's the
some of
five by
these in a Maduro
40. Yeah,
wrapper, and I
yeah.
remember Stogie Santa saying it was one of the best cigars he's ever smoked in his life. So you do get a butane torch lighter, which is nice. That's you don't always get a
Yeah, it's a
butane
nice
torch.
lighter.
It's a
It is
nice
a nice
lighter.
little lighter
Yeah,
there.
that's pretty cool. And you get a La Aurora branded cutter, which is actually got some weight to it. It's not just your average cheap like little plastic cutter. Like it actually seems like a nice cutter. So.
Oh, cool.
Yes. So that is the blending kit. Very excited about that.
Nice, nice.
Um, okay. So Will, want you take?
Well, I think
Did you want to talk more
Chris,
about
we
the
ready to
wild
go to
pack?
Debonair?
Yeah, we'll do Debonair. Let's do Debonair. Are you there, Will?
I'm here.
Sorry. Why don't you start off with Debonair? Oh, are we gonna do the
Okay.
commercial or?
Yeah, we good. I thought we were running a commercial.
Okay, we're gonna run the Debonair commercial. They definitely were not prepared for that, which is kind of funny to watch them panic when we say things like that, which is hilarious.
I know we
So why
talked
don't
about
you
it.
talk a little more about the aging room wild pack and which one did you light up again, Will?
I just am about to light up the blend number one, which is the T248. Looks like it's a Connecticut shade, is what this is. They're calling it a natural. It's got a nice texture to this cigar. Um, so I've actually smoked a few cigars, but it's been a while since I smoked today, and I lit up something else, which I'll come back to later. So I think these are some pretty. It's a pretty interesting concept what they've done.
It
They were
is.
supposed to pick the winner last year, and they basically held off till this year to do
And
that.
and what is the website that you go to on these?
You go to
Is it on the inside of the
aging.
box? It's
Yeah,
on the band.
it's on the band, but I think it's
Boutique Blends.
boutiqueblends.com forward
Boutique
slash
Blends.
wild pack.
Okay.
Yep.
Boutiqueblends.com. Gotcha. Okay. All right. With that, we're going to just cut to a quick commercial and come back with the Debonair Ideal segment.
Yep.
Round like a circle in a spiral, like a wheel within a wheel, never ending or beginning, like the circles that you find in the windmills of your mind.
So, Will, what is our Debonair Ideal segment? This is going to be an interesting show.
Yeah. It's an interesting day. No, so I thought we'd talk about cigar humidification in the colder weather. So the idea is winter is a challenge for the cigar enthusiast in a lot of different ways. It's anywhere from finding a place to smoke, to smoking the cigar itself, and to maintaining your cigars. So there's obviously some ways that we can be a little more debonair about that, in terms of making that process a little more easy for that. So I know we talked about, you and I were talking about this a couple weeks ago. Dryness is a big problem with winter. And I know it's a big problem here in North Carolina.
It's a
Once
big, it's a
December,
big problem for me with chapped lips and things like
yeah,
that. I mean, everything just gets so dry, and that extends out to problems with your humidor as well, which I'm experiencing now in the humidor here in the studio, trying to get the humidity up. Um, but it extends down to when you travel with cigars as well, right?
yeah. Now it does. And here's the thing about North Carolina: you have a very humid summer, and it just when it comes to winter, I find there's more of a shock on the cigars down here than when I lived in the Northeast. It
Mm.
just seems like there's much more of that shock. Um, and then when it comes to like December and January, I'm going crazy with a lot of my desktop humidors right now.
Yeah, when you we've talked about this on the show many moons ago. Will, when you reach a certain number of cigars, I don't know what that number is. I want to say it's over a couple of hundred, maybe. You need to start looking into like a cabinet of some kind to store your cigars in.
Yeah, and actually the cigar coop one is coming. Um, so the reason why I'm running around with desktop humidors is the anal person I am. I want to keep my Maduros separate from my Habano. I mean, so I'm just like anal, but it's not working anymore. So
No, you can't keep up
I've
with it,
had,
dude.
it's not Debonaire anymore. It's actually becoming more of a problem. So yeah, but yeah, so I actually do have one coming that I'm very excited about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think to be debonair, you got to do your best to adjust your humidity of your cigars for the climate that you're in. Right. In the summer, that means you're not leaving cigars out, on your counter for a while in the middle of summer when it's 100% humidity, because they're just going to, it's like a sponge. They're just going to soak up all of that humidity. And when you go to light them, you're going to light it up. You can take a few puffs and it's going to go out, and then you're going to have to relight it. And you're going to have to repeat that process. And when you do that, it kind of ruins, not kind of, in a lot of cases, it can completely ruin the smoking experience of your cigar. Um, Same thing in the winter. You leave cigars out, they're going to dry out very quickly, very low humidity, obviously, and it's just going to suck all that moisture right out of the cigar, and they're not going to smoke right. Now, when you smoke a dry cigar, it's going to smoke okay. It's not going to go out on you, but it's going to change that flavor profile. And I don't know, it may be because it burns too hot. I'm not exactly sure how the dryness of a cigar in terms of humidity, not dryness in the kind of mouthfeel sense, which is different. Dryness in the humidity of a cigar definitely affects the flavor. And the way I relate this to being debonair is when I talk to people that say, "Well, I smoked this cigar, I smoked that cigar, and I didn't like it. I don't like that kind of cigar because I smoked it and I couldn't keep it lit. I don't like that cigar because it tasted harsh and I didn't like it." And you could ask them how they stored it, and they're like, "Well, it was hanging out on my counter for a week or whatever." And that's just not being debonair. You shouldn't pass judgment on a cigar if you haven't stored it properly, and especially as we move into winter, you're going to have that moisture just be pulled right out of your cigar if you leave them out.
Yeah, and like I said, you can get away with it in the humid summer.
Yeah.
You can definitely get away with it.
Well, I
In the
find they can
winter,
pick up
you're gonna
too
be yeah, it's gonna be tougher.
in this in the summer. They can pick up almost too much humidity. You
They
know.
can, they can. Usually, if I put them in a Ziploc bag, I
Yeah,
can
you
leave
can
them
leave
in
them out.
there a
Yeah,
little
because it
longer.
kind of self-regulates. Yeah, at
Yeah,
that point.
but with winter, I leave them in the Ziploc bag 3 or 4 days. I've had stuff get rock hard because the humidity
Yep.
gets really. And I know people maybe in Nevada and Arizona are probably
Used to
saying
this.
I have this problem all year round. So
Absolutely.
but so certainly. But yeah, it is. It is. We are. Like I said, the change in humidity happens in North Carolina so fast that you get taken by surprise with it.
Well, and it's interesting here in the Northeast. What it's been doing the past month or two even is it's really been fluctuating. You get some cold days and that humidity really dips down, and then you get some warmer rainy days and that humidity starts to go back up again. So you start to flip flop back and forth. Um, this is why I completely recommend people use the bead system or some kind of two-way humidity system, as well as something that can regulate temperature or put it in a pretty stagnant environment where temperature doesn't fluctuate too much.
Yeah. Paul, you talked, it's kind of an ancillary thing, but I think it's worth mentioning to the listeners we talked about this week. You've just built a new humidor for the studio, and you
Hmm.
have a Cigar Oasis unit in there.
I had a
Uh,
Cigar Oasis
you
unit in
had it,
there.
but it had to come out because of actually it was too big.
Now,
And what it
and
was
nothing
doing,
against. So I love the Cigar Oasis device. It's a great system. If you've got a larger cabinet or larger space that you want to put humidity in and raise the humidity and keep it constant, I have the Cigar Oasis. I think it's the XL. It's a black device and it's got a little LCD screen where I can adjust the humidity. And for a large space, it works great. Puts off a lot of enough humidity to keep your cigars constant. It does a great job of regulating. It even has I have the unit that has an attachment with fans, so it helps circulate the air and the humidity as well, which is nice. I put that in my cooler. I have like a 120 quart cooler here in the studio for my humidor. I put that in there, and humidity it was doing okay. It was keeping up. It was doing great. In fact, I kind of modified it because I knew the space I was putting in was a little too small. So instead of putting the green foam that you get at the florist inside of your Cigar Oasis and then filling it up with distilled water, I put a couple of those Zycar things, Zycar gel jars inside of it with some beads. So I kind of cheated because I didn't want to throw up too much humidity.
right, right.
But the problem I had was that large unit in a space that small actually generated heat. So the temperature inside my humidor was 75 to 78 degrees, and I'm like, that's way too high. So I had to pull that unit out. I put a couple more jars. I put a couple more pounds of humidity beads inside of it. Humidity is still low. Like if I leave the cover shut overnight, I'll come in. It'll be between 65 and 67. But I noticed during the day, Will, I haven't told you this yet, but during the day, as I go in there and smoke, so I open it up and look through, and I pull out a cigar to smoke, and then, later on in the day, I'll open up again. That humidity will drop to 55, 57 to 62, roughly. To fluctuate much lower than I want it because I've opened it up, and it can't recover fast enough. So I need to, in this situation, my recommendation, if this were someone else, not myself, my recommendation would be to add more beads. Because the more beads that you add to a humidor like that, the quicker it's going to be able to recover from opening and closing. So I don't have enough humidification in there. I kind of, and it's a balance, right? I don't want to add too much because then you start to get mold. The
Yeah,
temperature now
summer it's
is
a big problem in the summer. Yeah.
summer. It could be a huge problem. Temperature right now is perfect. It's 65 degrees to 70 degrees temperature all the time. It's perfect. But the humidity tends to fluctuate a little too much. And humidity fluctuating like that is not good either because your cigars are going to absorb moisture when it's closed for that amount of time. And then if you're going in and out of the humidor and it's losing humidity, your cigars are going to emit moisture. So that constant shrinking, basically what your cigar is going to do is it's going to expand and it's going to shrink and expand and it's going to shrink. And that's
Right.
really bad, especially for the wrapper, as eventually when it does the expanding, your wrapper may crack if it's going through too much of a fluctuation. The key to a humidor is to give it a constant temperature and a constant humidity and keep it at that for the entire time. So if you're looking to age cigars, now there's a lot of turnover in the one here in the studio. In fact, AJ Fernandez is a sponsor. Hoya de Nicaragua was kind enough to provide us with a box of cigars. So as I interact with people here in the studio, I give them one of the cigars to see what they like. Now, I have to say, props to Hoya de Nicaragua and to AJ Fernandez, because the AJ Fernandez New World cigar and the Hoya de Nicaragua Red that I've given to everyone has been greatly enjoyed by all of my guests here in the studio. And I can say that honestly. Everyone loves that cigar, which is great.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
there's a
and
lot of
great.
turnover.
Yeah,
But if
yeah.
you're at home and you want to age cigars, you don't want that, right? You want something that's going to keep a constant temperature and humidity and recover very quickly so that there's not a lot of fluctuations. Then you can put cigars in there for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and they're going to be perfectly fine when you go and smoke them. And at home, I have cabinet solutions with more beads and other kinds of humidity devices. I actually use Avalo cabinets at home. And they recover very quickly. One of them regulates temperature. The other one keeps a pretty constant temperature on its own. And so those are the humidors I use to age my cigars.
Yeah, yeah. The interesting thing is, I was telling you during the week, Cigar Oasis sent me a Wi-Fi attachment for my Cigar Oasis.
That's
And
awesome. And
that I'm
you
in the
know
process of testing.
I love
Yes.
technology, especially technology like that. I'm a complete nerd, so.
Yeah, but I think it would be ideal if we get one maybe for the studio eventually because it will send you the alert
Mm,
when it needs to be adjusted.
no, it's great.
So and it keeps like graphs and history. It's a real stogie geek. We have to get the Cigar Oasis guys on the show. Actually, I think we can have a pretty good conversation. But I've seen this thing in action. There's some videos on YouTube and there's one on Cigar Coop as well. I had from the trade show of it, and
Yeah.
it's an awesome device.
Now, cigar oasis can be tough in climates where you have seasons, right? Because in the summer, you want to kind of take humidity out.
Out.
So if you have a cigar oasis, its job is to emit humidity. Um, so I find for me in New England, it can be kind of tough during the summer months to maintain the cigar oasis. Um, it may just be kind of running those fans without pulling any humidity off of the green foam that's sitting in water. So when you run those devices, they're excellent devices, don't get me wrong, but realize that when you run them in a higher humidity climate, you are going to want to change that foam more often than if you're in a drier climate. And that's because it's essentially green foam sitting in stagnant water at that point, right? The device isn't pulling moisture off it because it doesn't need to. The environment around it has enough humidity to keep your cigars humidified. So that water is sitting there being stagnant, and you'll start to get like this brown slime and stuff. So you got to take that foam out, you got to wash it out, clean it out, and put new foam inside of it. And that's just regular maintenance, which you'll have to do more often. I guess I'm just lazy, but you have to do more often if you're in a more humid kind of climate. Now, like you said before, Will, if you're in Arizona, the Cigar Oasis devices are perfect because
Yeah.
you're basically constantly going to be humidifying. It's constantly going to be pulling moisture and water off of that green foam or device inside of your Cigar Oasis or the reservoir with water, and it's not going to be stagnant, so you don't have to do as much maintenance. So
Yeah.
I like their devices. It just depends on your application. Make sure
Yeah.
you have the right device for the application. It's sized properly and take into account your climate.
Yeah, and they do a good job at, I think, specking it out too with the different options they have.
Yeah,
They do make a good device. I agree.
cool. Alrighty. We hadn't talked about humidors in a while, so I'm glad we had that opportunity to do that.
Yep, yep. Always good stuff there.
Um, do you want to talk about our stogies for the week, or are we waiting for our special guest to do that?
Um, we could talk about that right now.
Or do you want to do our? It's up to you, Will.
Um, we could do is we could bring our guest on to talk stogies of the week, and then we have one more segment we could run after that.
Okay. Well, how are
Because
we?
Dave's ready. Dave's
What
ready.
okay. Do you want to cut this segment, Will, at 32 minutes, and then bring
Yeah.
Dave on to do
This
stogies
way,
of the
this
week?
this way we don't rush Dave. Yeah.
Okay. So let's do this. Everyone visit stogiegeeks.com/blending. Sign up for the blending seminar so you can hang out with us on Saturday and get the awesome blending seminar from Manuel Inoa from La Aurora. Light the Legacy. You get this blending kit. So make sure you do that. You want to participate in the live seminar. It's going to be awesome. I'm super excited about it. stogiegeeks.com/blending. We will ship one out to you. I know it's kind of late in the game, so make sure you get in on it. We'll overnight them if we have to, but sign up right now. If you're listening live and you haven't signed up, sign up right now. It's $49. You won't be disappointed, I promise, because I'm holding one right now, and I'm really like I'm gonna keep
I've been
this.
through this,
I'm
and
gonna
it's
keep this
really
fun.
good. It's
And
a
I can't
really,
wait.
really good thing.
So with that, we're gonna take a short break and come back with our stogies of the week.